Yeah, hi, I'm James Murphy, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer at TechVets. So mine was my experience leaving the military was I suppose it seems quite bizarre. Many people go through it, but I was unfortunately injured back in 2007 in Afghanistan, which meant that I had to make a quite substantial career change even in my military time, and I moved into a new role. And when I did so, I built a 5-year plan. So when I left, I was ready to go, and I'd done all the networking and prepared myself properly. But my resettlement period was only 3 months, and to complete everything you need when you're moving, from a 2-decade career into something totally new, it was actually quite worrying. You get quite concerned that you're not going to be able to manage. You may not find that you're as successful as you may have been in your military career. But the plan that I had meant that I at least had a framework to go from when I joined TechVets, and that helped me quite considerably. But in essence, without a lack of commercial experience, it can be a very difficult task to try to prove yourself to hiring managers that you have experience that they recognize as being relevant and that would add value to their organization. So it was a really challenging time, and I found that during my plan, I picked out all the sort of real key skills that I developed over my military career, and I shaped that and added that to what I thought I wanted to do. And I ended up being put in touch with someone through TechVets, who got me this job description for a government digital service, which is one of the sub departments of the Cabinet Office. And I was lucky enough to land the job as the head of threat intelligence, providing strategic cyber threat intelligence to senior leaders within GDS, but wider Cabinet Office as well. And GDS, really good organisation, very, very sort of tech centred, obviously, and they are responsible for Gov UK managing that and making sure all of the services that people access, they can access on a daily basis, those life-changing services. So really, really cool job. And I went from something in the military where I felt I was doing something for a real sort of bigger, higher purpose, and moved into GDS where, funnily enough, it was the same sort of thing. So it was a really nice step into a new job outside of the military. So yeah, I mean, as I alluded to, I did join TechVets, but I joined TechVets in my 3-month period before I left the military. What I wished I'd have done is joined them a year before that, if not even further, because I just, I'm now in a position where I've been in a role. My first role was very strategic, and I didn't need to be that technical, but to have that ability to understand the technical stuff that I was running a program for, that would have been a huge help. And to be honest, I've fallen in love with tech, cybersecurity specifically, and I just wish I'd have got into it earlier, so I would have had the chance to build up my skills in a way that I would have been able to move into a cybersecurity role, technical cybersecurity role, earlier on in my career. That being said, I suppose joining TechVets made a huge difference, but like I said, I wish I'd have done that earlier. I just, I can live that through the achievements of our members at TechVets, but generally speaking, I think I caught the bug and wish I'd have got involved a lot earlier. Yeah, so as I was leaving, I joined. It was probably a little bit too late for me to really focus on technical skills building, and I wanted to concentrate more on my development as a leader. So I quickly realized that there were opportunities for people like me to help other members in TechVets, to support them, but also to support the co-founders. They had volunteered their time up until that point, all of them busy running their own companies, and they'd done it all with no money whatsoever. So it felt like the right thing to do. But additionally, I really felt some sort of alignment between TechVets, where they were going, what they wanted from that organization, and what I wanted to do, and what I thought was best for the members in TechVets as well. So I started to support them in the operational delivery. I represented TechVets at a number of key events, whether that was with politicians or resettlement briefs for service leavers. And I co-founded, I suppose, or set up the London chapter, the first of our local chapters with Joe, another TechVets member. We established that chapter, held the first event, and from there it just continued. When they published the job, it would have been a mistake for me not to go for it, and it has been the most fantastic decision I've ever made. Crikey, quite a lot at the moment, and it's growing at pace. So our mission is to build a bridge for veterans and service leavers into cybersecurity and technology careers. We have a huge focus on cybersecurity. There's a really nice overlap between military skills and how they can transfer into cybersecurity roles. Within the organization, we have three core areas. We have the community, we have the sort of training and upskilling, and then we have the employment support and the sort of career development aspect of that. To start with, the community is core to everything we do. We've built a community of veteran service leavers, reservists, of over 5,400 people in the just over 2 years that we've been running. And it's really good. The guys and girls get straight into the community, and it is full of people that have either gone through the same experience or going through the same experience. We have a really good mix of people. But it helps people to debunk the sort of resettlement myths that they may have, help them get through that sort of challenging time. It provides that pastoral support as well for if they get stuck at any point. They can also leverage the expertise of our members. We have, crikey, God knows how many veterans that are professionals from junior analysts up to director level who can provide guidance, advice and support. And it's a good place to share knowledge and collaborate. And then once they're in that community and they start feeling the buzz of that, they can really start getting on with the training. And we provide a number of resources to support them. And all of this is free. The idea of TechVets is a non-profit. And we have a very, very strong principle, should we say, that we should never be charging our members anything. There's so many people out there scamming them for stuff. And courses are so expensive these days, that we want to be able to give them that pathway where they don't pay anything other than their time, effort, and passion. So we build partnerships with organizations who support us and support our members because they value the skills that the veterans bring to cybersecurity and technology. One of those is our Veterans Digital Cyber Academy, which we have through our partnership with Immersive Labs. Really, really cool. It provides hands-on training in cybersecurity, from everything from workplace awareness through to offensive and defensive cyber skills, threat intelligence. Really, really cool gamified learning platform. And that's available to all of our members who are either unemployed or underemployed. So this year, we've had two new partners come on board. One is FORTINET, and with that, we are now a FORTINET Network Security Academy. So all of our members get access to the network security certifications, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which will basically open the door for them and improve them as security specialists. We also are now partnered with Splunk, so our members get access to the Splunk Work Plus, which is a fantastic project. And it basically enables all of our members to get Splunk Fundamentals 1 and 2 for free. Beyond that, what we've realized is there's a very cool way to get all of our members together and really to motivate them to learn and help each other. If we have anything where there's a competition involved, a team event, it tends to work really well. So our Capture the Flag teams, and specifically our Hack the Box team, they do particularly well. And Hack the Box, a really good free gamified sort of learning for those that wish to be pen testers. Really, really cool. Our Hack the Box team is, last time I checked, was 52nd in the world, which is pretty incredible. And that's all ranges of people. They hold regular sort of events and bring new people in and help them train up on stuff. Look, beyond that, we then get into the employment support. We like them to feel that they've got that support there, that collaboration, that ability to share experiences. They can upskill, but what do they want to do with it? And the golden nugget is getting them a job so they can have that sustainable career in cybersecurity or wider technology if that's their wish. With the employment support, we have a couple of things that we've done ourselves, which is actually working quite well. We have a CV support group, which leverages the volunteer time of some of our members experienced enough to review CVs for other more junior members. And we have an interview support channel where people can discuss everything. And it's surprising how many people have questions that would seem ridiculous to people who haven't been in their situation before. What's it like when you enter the building? Was it easy to find the room that you needed? were they welcoming? What was the room like? Were they hostile or open to you because you were military? These are the sort of questions that we want to help unpick, so they can go into their interviews with confidence. And the piece de resistance for us, you know, and I'm not just mentioning that because we're on this interview, but we also have the CREST CV service, which is a fantastic asset, and it's been underused so far. I've got a real drive at the moment to encourage more people to use it, and I think one of the biggest boundaries I've had with that is a lack of confidence. They don't want to send their CVs out because they're worried that they're going to send it out and it'll be a tarred brush if it's not good enough. So we want to build up around that. We recently had one of our members who used the CREST CV service, and within 12 hours had 5 first stage interviews booked in. So it can be incredibly powerful, and that enables them to send their CVs out to all the UK CREST companies, which is a huge benefit for them as soon as they start using that properly. And I suppose one thing we do is directly get them to engage with industry, which is very important. They build their network. We have our ready-made network where we have a lot of industry experts, but also we work with a number of organisations regularly to host events, or you know, they run workshops and invite our members on. But ideally, we want to work directly with companies to employ them. We don't work with recruitment agencies. So I suppose to tackle the sort of COVID bit first, when the pandemic struck, we thought it would have more of an impact, but actually we were always going to do okay with it based on the fact that everything we do is online. So other than the sort of physical meetups that the local chapters can have, actually, you know, we were relatively unscathed. Now, my immediate concern was that we had 5,000 people plus that I obviously had to make sure that we were at least looking out for. But the benefit of such a strong community is the community did that for us. All I did was create a few channels, a few extra channels for general, you know, boost up the general sort of conversation channels, some sort of health and well-being channels, working from home, etc. So people could feel that they felt that there was a community they could just literally tap into during the isolation as soon as they felt they wanted to reach out and have a chat with someone. So that's the only real development that we really made. We were very fortunate indeed, but we will keep the way that you know, everyone is moving to more remote working. We will continue to ensure that everything is remote by default, and if there is a real possibility of increasing the opportunities for the right reasons, then we'll look at physical stuff. In terms of reaching out to veterans and service leavers, I suppose to start with, it would have been slightly more difficult already. Now with such a big community, naturally people are being drawn towards us, and we're currently looking at approximately anywhere between 175 and 225 new members per month on average, and which is pretty good going. And we engage with them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, primarily LinkedIn. But we also, you know, we attend resettlement events where we get invited, and at the same time, we work with organisations. You know, we're partnered with. We work in partnership with the RFEA, the Forces Employment Charity, and we also work in partnership with the Careers Transition Partnership, who are responsible for all the service leavers when they're leaving. So we've got good links. We're building a really good network, and we're reaching even more. The next challenge for us is how to increase that. How can we reach everyone? Well, I think there's a huge gap in cybersecurity for leadership, good communicators. I think that's definitely something that I experienced in my first year. There are some amazing technologists, but a real distinct lack of people who will make decisions, be responsible, and have the confidence to make decisions and stick by them, be accountable. So, you know, I think when you look at veterans, you know, they're taught from the moment they join, they walk through the gates and on their first phase of their training, they're taught to learn their boss's job and their boss's job. And obviously it's in, you know, almost archaic principles that in a big world war, that the sort of attrition meant that it was likely that you would be stepping up and have battlefield promotions and whatnot. But that framework of leadership it remains in the military. So it means that you're always understanding and being exposed to the sort of bigger picture of what's going on. It also means that through their orders process, which is very, very robust, very comprehensive. They really understand how to grasp what the exec level want, and also how that can be delivered operationally on the ground. And they're really good at sort of being that person in the middle to make sure both ends of that stick understand each other. I think that the fact that they are so good at working in teams as well is another real benefit. And across especially wider technology, multidisciplinary teams are a real positive thing. And in the military, they come from teams where every single person will have a different skill set, a different responsibility. And the idea of people who are, at the very lowest level, the most junior leaders, will have to bring those teams together and be able to use all of those different skills to achieve an effect in order to achieve the mission. And even if you are the lowest rank in that team, you still have to understand how your skill works within that wider multidisciplinary team. So I think the teamwork aspect is really good, and you definitely not find many teams that have a veteran in that aren't better for it. They're more cohesive, they communicate better. It tends to be a stronger team because of the veterans. They do bring that to the party, which is fairly good for most tech teams who struggle with the people and are fantastic with the tech. I think the final one, and the one that was the biggest eye opener for me, was how robust veterans are when dealing with change. I think no one likes it. It's not a natural thing. But in the military, on a Friday, you could be told that you're going on duty for the weekend, or unfortunately next week you're going away for 3 weeks or deploying on a 6-month tour. And you have to stop everything and just get on with that. And I think you're used to moving around the country, if not the world, so often, taking your family with you most of the time. I think you get used to that. So when it comes to sort of mid-quarter and your team's breaks down because there's a change in the mission, that's where the veteran shines. That's where they can pull the team together, really get across that it's not the worst thing in the world, bring those contingency plans into force, and just create and stick with a good solid process that the team can follow. So it tends to be that the veterans are a beacon of light with change as well. Definitely start off and do your research. I think not enough people do that. Too many people have heard the sort of cyber buzzword, and the amount of members that we have that are brand new, who will jump onto the forum and ask, I want to get into cyber, where do I start? It's very difficult for someone to answer that because there are a whole plethora of questions that need to be answered before you can even understand where you need to go. And there are other questions that need to be researched as well. Things like your geographic location. If you're not willing to commute that far, or you can't commute that far, you have to understand what the ecosystem is around you and where the opportunities may be. And if you are in a part of the UK that doesn't bode well for aspiring threat intelligence professionals, then you may need to change your approach or move location, one of the two, or search for remote roles, which are obviously increasing. Definitely manage your salary expectations. I think that's another it's another strange one, that expectation that because you're in cyber that you're instantly going to be on 50k plus, even if you're at the most junior level. I think what people need to understand, if they're veterans and service leavers, is that you have a lot of soft skills. You're not a graduate. You bring a professional background with you that many won't have, and your ability to develop a team and the team members within it, develop the processes and capabilities, will mean that actually 9 times out of 10 you will progress faster than your peers. So don't rush it, and be willing to compromise as long as you're hitting your baseline salary. Learn the fundamentals. That's definitely a big one for us. I suppose with the military, when they leave, most will get a year, and towards the end of that year, they get access to some funding, and they can use that for courses. The problem is, if they're purchasing a course, they're telling a hiring manager, if they've got no experience in tech or cyber, they're telling that hiring manager they've got 5 days experience. So what we want to do is encourage people to join TechVets, because there's no hooks. It's literally entirely free, and what they'll find is they'll be able to build that whole pathway holistically, where there is everything involved in that: building the network, understanding industry, really learning the skills that you need to implement, rather than just learning how to answer exam questions, and really diving in to be able to solve problems with the skills that you're learning. That's a big thing, and a lot of people want to sort of skip ahead and get a cert and think that that's going to get them in the door and get them the big bucks. I suppose, yeah, and the certification thing is a real big one. Don't chase the certifications. They're really, really important. I mean, they're super important for benchmarking skills. You know, if you look at the CREST framework, what a wonderful way of having a common industry language, where a hiring manager will understand exactly what your skill set is in a framework, because they know what's behind that CREST certification. But if you're just chasing the certifications rather than embarking on that journey to really learn the skills and develop the skills, then you're missing a trick, and you may come unstuck when you then get into that role, or even an interview when you're asked to sort of pass the practical aspects. You may not be able to manage it. You don't want to be over your head. You want to be enjoying what you're doing, because most people that work in cyber do it because it is the most fantastic place to be. Very exciting, very fast paced, but you learn a lot every day. And I think, I suppose, the learning aspect as well. Just be prepared to do a lot of learning, a lot of development. It never stops. You know, threats, vulnerabilities, technologies changing by the second. World domination is definitely up there. No, I jest. So look, there's loads that we want to do. Absolutely loads, and you know, we're starting to embark into a really sort of exciting stage for TechVets, where we're hoping to bring in more partners to provide more access to training. You know, and the training aspect is going to develop tenfold, which will be really fantastic. And I won't say much more now, but sort of watch this space for the training side of things. We want to start developing the career support aspect, the employment support aspect, to get more people into yeah, through the CV stage, and at least give them a chance to interview. But the big goal is that, you know, I want everyone who's a service leaver, and everyone who's a veteran, to be able to access cybersecurity and technology careers, to not think that it's outside of their grasp, outside of their reach, because they haven't coded for 20 years. Look, we can help you. We can provide you the support. We can help you answer those questions, and then through that whole pathway, you'll have a community behind you. So I think, if you know, it'd be great if we could have every single veteran and every single service leaver who joins TechVets to sharpen up their tech skills. Would be amazing.